we all heard the minister declare that delivery of laptops to primary schools is going to be his #1 priority. And other highlights of that speech touched on the development of the content. Actually, we had ICT board invited the director of Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, but fortunately on the panel, a number of organizations represented here have worked with Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. So questions coming from that area relating to the content, I'm sure the Cabinet Secretary's representative will be able to touch on the same. Establishment of National ICT and Integration Center, I think that's in the pipeline. Lessons learned from other countries. National Education Portal. These are some of the things I picked from the Cabinet Secretary's speech. There are 27,000 public primary schools, or thereabouts. And high schools are about 7,000 in our 47 counties. And British Council has done some work, and the ministry as well, with 23 primary schools and 1,500 high schools in the area of ICT. So may I now turn to you to pose your questions to us in the panel.
Good morning, my name is Agatha Verdadero. I'm the MD and publisher of the Kandu Company, which is the pioneer and sole digital-only trade publishing house in Kenya right now. I was also, before I came to Kenya 11 years ago, I was also an assistant, a tenured assistant professor teaching literature in university. I mention those things because certainly this particular topic is very sacred to me, and it is very much a space that I'm very comfortable with. So now, straight to what I wanted to say. Last week of April, I was actually a resource person in a digital publishing workshop sponsored by eKitabu for the Kenya Publishers Association. In that forum, I was essentially speaking in my capacity as publisher and what we had to go through in pioneering digital publishing in Kenya. Now, something that I sensed as we were talking about, getting KPA members ready towards providing content for January 2014 was that, they were excited, but also I realized on my own that, this was late April and we had less than a year really to get everybody ready with the content. And I told the head of KPA, you have to have your content ready actually by October because you have to run quality control tests to make sure that the interactive component of your content is ready in time for the devices in January. Now, what is the government's plan in terms of fulfilling content delivery if the current providers of that content aren't ready? And then what can I do personally in order to, I am certainly very interested in taking part in teacher training. I taught in a university that led the way for creating smart classrooms in the Philippines. We had smart classrooms even before 2000, year 2000. And so this is a space that I really am excited about. I would very much like to help in any way.
My name is Judy Njogu from Safaricom. I'm actually asking specifically about what has already been discussed about the teachers, because I think we all are aware that children are natural adapters to technology, but teachers are not. So unless we have a strategy to make sure the teachers actually will be teaching, I know things have been mentioned here and there, but my question is, what is the strategy for the teachers to onboard them in using ICT for pedagogy?
Could you comment on the quality assurance, on the teacher preparedness, how you will be evaluating the training that will be offered to the teachers as part of preparedness for the one laptop per child project? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. These are good questions. Number one, the question on publishers, the content, and whatever. Normally, before any curriculum is developed, there are normally stages. And that's why we talk of curriculum. Kenya, the one which used to be called the KIE, it is now KIST, Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. So the issue is, what can the government do in case the content is not ready? The issue is actually that we have a SAGA, a semi-autonomous government agency headed by Dr. Lydia Nzomo. They are aware and they have to match with us. So in other words, at the moment, as we are saying, this thing is at par, and that particular officer is under our cabinet secretary. So we have to move at par. And also, when curriculum is being developed, you cannot also, when curriculum, there are stages of curriculum development. This one is a directive because it is a promise from the Jubilee government. So everybody, all the mechanisms have to be put in place. But at the end of the day, the materials have to be vetted. In fact, if you can remember, we have what you call the famous Orange Book. This is where we evaluate all the materials. Because according to what philosophers have said, is actually that a mistake from a doctor, somebody is buried. But a mistake in a book, if somebody stays with it. If you read any mistake from a book, you remain with it, and it becomes difficult to correct it. So the books have to be evaluated. The materials have to be evaluated, and they have to be inserted into the Orange Book, our approved list of books or materials, so that everybody is in consensus that this particular material qualifies, and the publishers are aware of that. So in other words, there are also some areas where Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development becomes as a last alternative. Because initially, because of liberalization of book trade, KIE was not supposed to publish because you cannot be a prosecutor and become a judge and everything. So according to that, they were only coming to produce materials in those unpopular subjects. Like, for example, we may not have many books in French, Arabic, or some other areas. That's where they are supposed to. Even now, there is a debate going on. There's a lot of communication in the papers. So this is what is being sorted out very well, because this is according to the Education Act, that actually they are now supposed to evaluate, to do all that. But what we are saying is the ministry cannot roll out a program without the materials. Number three, we cannot also roll out materials without training, without building capacity of those who are supposed to use. Because even in the curriculum development, one of the stages is piloting. Then from there, you actually enrich what has been, whatever input from the stakeholders. Then you see what type of report you can be produced. But one of them is materials. You must produce materials. You pilot. You build the capacity. Then from there, you can now roll out. And after every 2 years, you can get now the returns to see what you can be able to do. Question on quality assurance. If I have not exhausted, I'm ready. Maybe I can come back. Question on quality assurance preparedness. First of all, the quality assurance officers, all of them are graduates. And on top of that, in the university, the unit for ICT is compulsory. Even now, we are talking of soft copy, passing information, everybody's supposed to be so. But what we are saying is actually we're also moving with time, because we are now there, and everybody can use an iPad, can use whatever tablet you mentioned. So those ones are there. But whenever it comes to content, we are also supposed to build their capacity. And for your information, according to the Education Act, quality assurance now is supposed to become ESCAC, Education Standards and Quality Assurance Council, because now it is supposed to be autonomous, but the process is on, according to Education Act. In fact, the quotation is, they shall be established. So this is why we are actually on. But whatever you are saying is true, because you cannot monitor and evaluate if you are incompetent. And monitoring means they are not, monitoring and evaluation are not synonyms. Monitoring means, monitoring is actually checking, making constant checks and making corrective measures on the spot. While evaluation is towards the end, actually to make a judgment, whether it is summative, it is formative, it is whatever. So I'm sure quality assurance are moving in time. That's why I'm here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Emily, the question of teacher capacity,
Okay.
because I know you've worked with the Teacher Service Commission in putting up a plan for this. Probably you can answer that question. And also touch on the member who asked the first question, how she can partner, perhaps with the ministry and so on, and leverage her experience in the area of content delivery.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Haemba. Judy, I know you are interested because Safaricom has also made some breakthrough towards professional development, where you're encouraging teachers to showcase teaching happening within a classroom so that a teacher, as far as Mandera, Garissa, the disadvantaged areas, can have the same experience as a teacher in Alliance. And I'm listening to these conversations, and we are only thinking of the teacher. We're not thinking of the child. Of course, you all take cognizance that the children are way above. They're faster than the teacher. And last week, we spent the whole of last week looking at which is the best curriculum to prepare the teachers to go and deliver a lesson, let's say on the 6th of January, because it's a fact, the devices will be in the classroom. So I posed a question to the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. We all know in the rural Kenya, the language or the medium of instruction is the language from the catchment area. So if somebody is from Kisumu, definitely, you know Standard 1s, they're taught in Luo, Kikuyu, true? And here is a device where they have to use, first even introduce them to what is a computer, what's a laptop. So I was told it's not even about that. There's a way that the teachers have been trained and they're prepared to deliver that. So in terms of how ready are the teachers to uptake, or what is the curriculum? It's still open. It's not finally finalized. We're still panel beating it and looking at what are the best aspects. But the bottom line is, are we preparing the teachers to deliver or impart the 21st century skills required for them to give the children? Our experience and talking to teachers who have used ICT, and Judy will bear me witness, it's amazing, and they're really ready. The only issues they have, as Victor talked about, is issues of connectivity. But there's so many offline resources. Like KICD, you will bear me witness, has tapes, there are a lot of resources out here. It's up to them to regulate what goes into the classroom. Is it the right content? Mr. Mohammed has talked of the Orange Book. So the teachers just have to adhere to that. We are looking at a child who will be all-rounded, not the teachers just focusing on mean score, because we're losing something here. What kind of a child do we want at the end of 8 years? And that's why I was saying I wish that the Kenya National Examination Council was here also to share with us how are they going to contribute towards quality assurance. In as much as the teacher will be prepared, but are they imparting the right skills to the learners? For me, that should be the bottom line. Again, looking at organization, I know Kenya Literature Bureau has e-books already. They've been mandated. I think they're the only ones who bidded and they were given that mandate. So people are out there doing beautiful things. But just from what I picked yesterday, there's a lot of opaqueness. There's no, data where you need to know who is doing what. How do we come together? And that's why we've been working closely with Microsoft. Vincent talked about partners in learning. Teachers need to join in, collaborative sites. They share the lesson plans. They share the schemes of work, and talk about challenges and even handling students at that level. So for me, I know we are ready, and Mr. Mohammed will bear me witness. Come January 6th or 7th, 2014?
2014.
I'm sure the media will be in the classrooms checking, are the teachers using the devices, are they handling? I'm confident that will be true.